Proposal to establish Federal Office of Boys and Men, OBAM, in 2025. Executive Summary. Purpose. This proposal calls for establishing an Office of Boys and Men, OBAM, within the Australian federal government to address the unique challenges boys and men face, particularly those from disadvantaged backgrounds. OBAM will offer a research-driven, solution-focused framework to drive meaningful change, enhancing social cohesion, economic outcomes, and public health. There is no intention that this impact in any way on existing or continuing women's gender equity programs. Part of OBAM's charter would be to assist in the reduction of domestic violence. It is not advocating a return to the old days of traditional masculinity. It is about moving forwards with an adaptive and positive masculinity to suit contemporary society. Rationale. The need for OBAM is driven by several critical challenges facing Australian society. Currently, 7 Australian men die by suicide every day, with suicide being the leading cause of death for Australians aged 15 to 44. Disadvantaged boys face particularly severe challenges, experiencing lower educational attainment, poorer health outcomes, and higher risks of substance abuse and criminality. The social impact of these challenges is further compounded by negative portrayals of men in media and public discourse. These representations exacerbate feelings of alienation and polarization, leaving many men marginalized and vulnerable to political manipulation. International examples demonstrate the potential for positive change. Countries like Ireland, Norway, and Canada are leading the way with male well-being initiatives. Norway's experience is particularly instructive, showing that increased father involvement in childcare leads to better emotional development for both fathers and children. Mission. OBAM will focus on the well-being of Australian boys and men through 1. Improving school retention and educational attainment. 2. Expanding vocational training in emerging fields. 3. Reducing male suicide and enhancing mental health services. 4. Addressing domestic violence as both perpetrators and victims. 5. Increasing male participation in parenting and caregiving roles. 6. Reducing male criminality and improving recidivism outcomes. 7. Assist in closing the gap initiatives for Indigenous boys and men. OBAM, structure and oversight. Independent Advisory Board, external oversight to ensure transparency and focus. Public accountability, regular updates, annual reports to Parliament, and public dashboards to build trust. Leadership and staffing, a respected, bipartisan leader overseeing a team of 15 to 20 professionals, supported by an annual budget of $5 to $10 million. Impact. OBAM will enhance educational and employment outcomes for boys and men. Improve mental health services and reduce suicide rates. Support gender equity by addressing the needs of all genders. Strengthen social cohesion by fostering constructive narratives about masculinity. Call to action. OBAM is a timely, centrist, practical initiative addressing pressing societal challenges. By adopting this proposal, Australian leaders can promote fairness, compassion, and a better future for all citizens. Strategic timing. Proposed for consideration in the 2025 federal election. Particularly relevant for rural, regional, and outer suburban electorates. Proposal to campaign for the establishment of an Office of Boys and Men in the upcoming Australian federal government election 2025. Discussion paper for the Boys and Men Institute of Australia by Paddy Murray, the 27th of December, 24. Introduction. Many working-class men feel alienated, ignored. Yet these men vote, and their influence can significantly impact elections, as seen in the USA and other countries. This is confirmed in recent Australian polls, as explained in a recent article by Michelle Grattan, where she says Labor's position with men, especially younger men, has become difficult since 2022. This week's Essential poll, December 20th, on a two-party basis, has the Coalition on 51% among men and Labor on 44%. Mr. Welsh, political consultants, says the sense of disempowerment, alienation, among young men means that what they want is a shock to a system that they no longer believe operates in their interests. It's now the men who are grumpy, and they are very grumpy. Labour is highly alert to the problem, but is still searching for the answers. Australian political leaders, although aware of this trend, seem hesitant or frightened to respond. Ignoring that does not make it go away. The cultural climate has shifted, and this initiative responds to that. Australians pride themselves on being fair and compassionate. They expect their leaders to demonstrate that. Why is this important? The crisis facing our boys and men often goes unnoticed, particularly by well-off segments of society and most politicians. Suicide statistics. Every day, 7 Australian men die by suicide. Among 250 Australian men who attempted suicide, many shared feelings of being useless, worthless, hopeless, and pointless. Suicide remains the leading cause of death for Australians aged 15 to 44. Education and opportunity gaps. Boys from disadvantaged backgrounds face lower school completion rates. Reduced educational achievement. Cascading challenges such as shorter life expectancy, higher rates of obesity and substance abuse, and reduced likelihood of stable relationships or engaged parenting. For better-off Australians, these realities may seem distant. However, they act as a warning sign of deeper societal problems we ignore at our peril. Negative social messaging. Our media and leaders often portray boys and men negatively, using terms like toxic, misogynist, privileged, mansplaining, and abusive. This constant negativity takes a toll. A mother's story. Jane, a mother of 3 boys, was moved to tears after attending the Men with Heart photographic exhibition. She shared, "My oldest son is 16 and suffers from depression. When he hears yet another media rant about how bad or toxic men are, he spirals into a depressive episode. I feel so sad and upset that our society cannot do better than this. Where are our leaders?" The consequences of this messaging are far from invisible. It damages social cohesion, drives polarization, and leaves a significant group alienated and vulnerable to political manipulation. Global trends and lessons. This trend is evident worldwide, particularly in the recent US elections. As Bernie Sanders noted, "You forget the working class. Guess what? They forget about you." It's time for political leaders to show leadership and act. Addressing this issue is create stronger families and society. Improving boys' and men's well-being creates stronger families and societies. Politically impactful, it influences elections. Economically sensible, better outcomes for men mean better outcomes for society. Morally right, it reflects compassion and wisdom. Gender equity includes men. Supporting boys and men is not about diminishing women's gender equity efforts, which should continue unabated. Melinda Gates, one of the world's wealthiest women, donated $60 million to 2 US-based men's organizations, including the Richard Reeves Foundation and the American Institute of Boys and Men. Gates emphasized that gender equity involves both women and men rising together. Call to action. When political leaders fail to respond, it's up to us to raise awareness. Marginal seats in the upcoming federal election provide an opportunity to bring these issues into focus and drive action. Boys and men are asking, "Who will listen to me? Who will speak for me? Will you?" Proposed Framework Office of Boys and Men. Politicians in marginal seats in our next federal election in 2025 will be encouraged to adopt an Office of Boys and Men as a concrete and demonstrable mechanism doing something for our boys and men. Australian voters are ready for this, especially in rural, regional, and outer suburban electorates. Mission: to focus on challenges facing Australian boys and men through solid research and analysis, leading to effective solutions. This is to be achieved in the context of gender equity, building a better future for all genders. Key objectives: 1. Improve school retention and attainment. O. Focus on boys from lower socioeconomic sectors. 2. Enhance vocational training. O. Investigate effective vocational pathways in a rapidly changing job market, especially in high-growth areas not traditionally seen as male-dominated, e.g., nursing, education, personal services, and caregiving. 3. Address male suicidality. O. Review existing programs to reduce male suicide and recommend more effective approaches where needed. 4. Improve mental health access. O. Propose solutions for enhancing access to mental health and counseling services for men. 5. Increase male counselors. O. Explore ways to create more male counselors, especially in government-funded programs. 6. Reduce domestic violence offending. O. Focus on education, behavior change programs, and law enforcement to reduce domestic violence perpetrated by men. 7. Support male victims of violence and bullying. O. Investigate support and care needs for male victims of domestic violence and bullying cultures in schools. 8. Promote fatherhood roles. O. Increase the role of men as fathers and equal participants in all aspects of family duties and responsibilities. 9. Reduce male criminality. O. Study and implement effective programs to reduce male criminality and recidivism rates. 10. Indigenous boys and men. O. All these areas of focus apply equally to Indigenous boys and men and will also focus on closing the gap initiatives. Independent External Advisory Board. To ensure long-term success, an independent external advisory board will provide oversight, guidance, and accountability. This board will protect the initiative from political, bureaucratic, or ideological pressures. Emphasize how addressing boys' and men's issues complements existing gender equity efforts. Invite contributions from the general public to assist with initiatives. The establishment of OBAM would involve cabinet approval, legislation, and administrative orders, including nominating the responsible minister. An interim external advisory board will assist during this process. Building on international evidence. OBAM will leverage international programs and research, particularly from countries like Ireland, Norway, and Canada. This approach will access evaluated interventions and their outcomes. Adapt successful policy frameworks to Australia's context. Avoid pitfalls experienced by others. Leadership and staffing. Appoint a high-profile, respected leader with bipartisan support and experience in men's advocacy. Staff the office with 15 to 20 professionals with expertise in education, employment, and social policy to ensure balanced perspectives. Public accountability. Use digital tools, including a dedicated website, social media platforms, and interactive dashboards, to update the public on OBAM's work. Highlight success stories that resonate with diverse audiences. Oversight and reporting. OBAM will produce an annual report to Parliament and the public. Establish an auditing procedure to ensure alignment with the office's charter, as advised by the External Advisory Board. Budget and collaboration. Initial budget, $5 to $10 million annually. Collaborate with academic research initiatives and postgraduate programs. Facilitate submissions to research grant programs aligned with OBAM's mission. 1 page.